Hey guys, welcome back to AF Travels. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my top tips for cruising. So come along and let's go. Normally, when you book a cruise, they give you a recommended boarding time for the day. They'll say, hey, come on board sometime between 2 to 3. They will always give you what time you must board by. For example, if your cruise ship is departing the port at 7 p.m. that night, they're going to tell you must be on board by about 5 p.m. Sometimes it can be earlier, it can be 4 p.m. So that is the latest that you can turn up to the cruise before it actually leaves without you, which none of us want. But what I'm here to tell you is try to make the most out of that first day. You have paid for that entire day. Now you can't get on board at 6 a.m. Most of the time the cruise ships are pulling in still to port. They also need to make sure they disembark all passengers before they can start boarding for the new cruise. So what time do I get to the port? Normally at about 10 a.m. to 10:30. I like to be one of the first people on board, and I like to make sure I'm getting up to the top deck to enjoy that view, making sure I have a wander around the ship, having a look at all its facilities. You need to remember as well, you also have the muster drill. Did I say that right? Yes, the muster drill. So the muster drill is a must go to on your first day. It's basically just to make sure it's a big safety drill, make sure that everybody's there, they tick everybody off in attendance. And it can take up a little bit of your afternoon. Sometimes they can get it over and done with within about 15-20 minutes, and it's not so bad. You also don't need to take your life jackets anymore to that. But definitely make sure you're getting on board as early as you can. Sometimes your travel plans don't permit this, but please try to get there early if you can. Make the most of it. Try and be on board by midday. That's always my aim, and I'm sure that many of you who have cruised before, you're also on board around that time. Another thing that cruisers who have cruised before will always tell you, do not fly into the port the day you are due to board your cruise. It's a big no-no, because you don't want your entire trip derailed because that flight was delayed, because the flight got cancelled and they couldn't get you on another one until 5 p.m. and the ship is leaving at 5. You don't want that. The ship isn't going to wait for you. However, there have been circumstances where I've actually been a part of where the ship has waited because there were about 50 passengers on a flight, and it actually waited for 15 minutes for them because they were on their way and they'd notified the cruise line. However, from what I understand, it is a very rare occasion for that to happen. So to save that angst and that worry of, am I going to make it? Book your flight the day before. Have a night accommodation there. It'll make it easier for everyone, stress-free. Start your holiday that little bit earlier, and everyone is happy come that day that you're going to board because you can actually get on that little bit earlier. So make sure you don't book that flight the day that your cruise is departing. So my next tip is actually about your cabin and what you can do to help organize your cabin. So as we know, cruise ship cabins can be quite small, and when you're sharing with another person or maybe another 2 people, it can get quite cramped in there. So make sure you have a look out for all the storage spaces that the cruise line actually provide for you. A little hidden one is under the bed. It's a great place for suitcases. You can usually slide them under there and they're out of the way. I also tend to use that space to store my dirty washing. It ends up being well and truly out of the way. So make sure you make the most of all those spaces, all those hidden cupboards and drawers. Behind mirrors, there's usually shelving as well. So make sure you use those to the fullest to put away all your bits and pieces. Another little tip to take with you are a couple of magnet hooks. So all cruise line cabins are actually magnetic. So the walls in there will happily hang your magnets. So if you take a couple of magnets, stick them up to the wall, it'll let you hang things on them. I can't even speak today. It will let you hang things on them. So it will let you hang up your jackets. You can even put your cruise pass up over the hook, easy access. You can hang a little storage thing, which helps you put like shoes and jewelry in the slots. You guys know the ones. I'm sure you've seen them on eBay and things. Always handy to take with you. especially for those of you that are doing longer cruises. Those little bits of storage just help keep your cabin organized. So make sure you take some of those magnetic hooks, very handy. I also like to take a few magnets with me just to put up the cruise planner of the day. If you hang that up on the wall, it's very easy for people to grab. Any little notes or things as well that happen to come up along the way. Really good tip on those magnets. Alrighty, what do we have up next? Let's see. Okay, so this next one is probably a big one of mine that I guess I've kind of learned as I've gone along. Don't overindulge. Well, you can, but plan it, because planning that overindulgence actually does help. I have done a lot of cruises around Europe that are very port intensive. So if you overindulge in a little bit of alcohol, a few of those little fancy cocktails, maybe you go to the buffet and you order an extra main that night or an extra 3 or 4 desserts, no one's judging you. You can do that. You can have as much food as you like. Just remember that the next day, if you're in a port, if you've got excursions, you don't want to be feeling sluggish. You don't want to be hungover with that headache. I'm definitely not 18 anymore, and it does take me a lot longer to recover. So I definitely know that if I'm going to have a big night and I want to go out, I want to try all the bars, I want to have a few fancy cocktails, I'm going to do that the night before a sea day, because I'll have the entire sea day to recover, maybe indulge some more and enjoy myself. And then by the time we get to a port, I'm ready to get off and I'm not hungover and I'm ready to actually enjoy the port itself. So just remember, when you are indulging and going for those extra drinks, be mindful of what you have the next day. Sometimes some of the ports you can end up with some quite early mornings, getting off the boat at 7 a.m. or 7:30. So just be a bit mindful on what you've got on the next day before you decide to overindulge. Which actually, you know what? I need to tell you as well. You need to make sure that when you go to the main dining room on the ship, it's all included in your cruise price, all right? They have a menu, you get a few options for entrees and mains and desserts. You pick what you want to order. Don't be afraid to ask for more. So if you decide that you can't figure out whether you actually want the apple pie or the chocolate cake for dessert, ask for both of them. They will give it to you. No questions asked, no extra charge. So go for it. See what you want on there, try them, and don't be afraid as well to ask for things off the menu, okay? Because if there's nothing on the menu that you're liking, or if you really, really want that Indian curry, ask them if they can do it for you. They may not be able to do it right then and there, but maybe tomorrow night they can have that prepared for you. So don't be afraid to ask. And make sure, if you have any specialty dining requests, if you're lactose intolerant, gluten-free, vegetarian, vegan, make sure you go and see the maitre d' and let the crews know beforehand. If you can let them know beforehand via email, by calling their customer service line, or going up to the maitre d' the day that you board, letting them know your dietary requirements. Very important. They will cater for you. So don't be afraid that you're not going to be able to eat anything, or it's going to be, gross and you don't want to have to live off a piece of bread. It's fine. They will cater for you and they will make meals for you. So go and see the maitre d' on your first day. Let them know that you're there and see what they can do for you. My mother is actually lactose intolerant and she loves going on cruises because they actually cater for her. So don't be afraid to go and ask some questions to the maitre d'. Okay guys, I'm going to wrap it up with one last tip, because really, if you know me, I could probably talk about this all night long. So don't be afraid to leave your questions or your comments below. We all love to hear your cruise tips as well. But I'm going to wrap it up with check your cruise planner. So your cruise planner has a wide variety of daily activities. It has some special offers. Maybe the spa is doing a 2-for-1 discount on massages today. It also has all the opening times of the shops and the casinos on there. You also want to check it out to see what time the shows are. Maybe you want to plan your dinner around the show. You might want to plan dinner around a comedy show, go do karaoke at a certain time, maybe take part in a quiz. There are lots of different activities happening around the board. Around the boat. There is no board, it's a boat. So make sure you check out all of those activities on your cruise planner. The cruise planner will be delivered to your stateroom at about 10 p.m. or so the night before. So for the next day. So then you can go and have a look to see what you plan on doing for the next day. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you hit subscribe. I'm going to be doing a few more videos coming up over the next few weeks. And our next trip Andrew and I have planned is off to New Zealand to go and see his family for a long weekend in October. So make sure you stay tuned and you come along with me for that. So hit the like button below and the subscribe button. I really want to see whether you guys like this video or not. So feel free to leave your comments in the comment section below and hope to see you guys next time.